In a divided world, how do you get 195 countries all on the same page? From Sao Paulo to Seoul, the Financial Times is the common thread connecting bright minds. It's read in every country recognised by the United Nations, by people who need trusted insight to make confident decisions. And with reporters in over 40 international bureaux, you can trust the FT to tell the global stories that matter, clearly and without compromise. Read more and subscribe at ft.com.
As events in the Middle East have recently reminded, disputes between nations, even at their most grave, can have an aspect of the theatrical. After the United States joined Israel's bombing of targets related to Iran's nuclear program, Iran felt obliged to respond, but in a manner which did not escalate matters beyond control. Iran wished to avoid looking weak, but without provoking the further wrath of a much stronger antagonist. Accordingly, Iran flung a volley of missiles at the US military's Al Udeid base in Qatar, although not before telling the US and Qatar they were going to do it. Anything and anyone of value was duly moved off base beforehand, and the missiles were all shot down anyway. Iran was able to declare, quote, a mighty and successful response to American aggression, a claim arguably undermined somewhat by US President Donald Trump thanking Iran for its consideration in furnishing advance notice. Similarly, Thailand is presently scandalised by the glimpse it has been permitted behind the diplomatic curtain. Thailand is at daggers drawn with its neighbour Cambodia for reasons we shall arrive at shortly. The crisis has been rumbling on for a while and is serious. In late May, a Cambodian soldier was killed in cross-border sniping, and since then sanctions have been applied in both directions. This week, Thailand has severely restricted crossings at its land borders with Cambodia, and Cambodia has banned imports from Thailand, including farm produce, energy and internet, and Thai film and television, and summoned patriotic rallies in Phnom Penh. The militaries of both countries have been placed on high alert. Last week, however, audio was leaked of a phone call between Thai Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra and former Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Sen, now President of Cambodia's Senate and generally assumed to be still effectively in charge. Cambodia's current Prime Minister is Hun Sen's son, Hun Manet, who inherited the job less than 2 years ago. Cambodia's current Deputy Prime Minister, incidentally, is another of Hun Sen's sons, as is at least one Lieutenant General in the Royal Cambodian Army, while a daughter, Hun Mana, is an enormously wealthy tycoon with significant interests in Cambodia's media, talented family, etc.
Hello, can you hear me, Uncle?
In the leaked phone call between the Thai Prime Minister and the Cambodian potentate, Shinawatra addresses Hun Sen as uncle and says of one of her own military commanders that he had taken action because he just wanted to look cool. Shinawatra may have believed she was safe to speak freely. Her family, a formidable Thai political dynasty, has long been friendly with Hun Sen's. Indeed, after Shinawatra's father, former Thai Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra, was unloaded by one of Thailand's semi-regular military coups in 2006 and forced to console himself by buying Manchester City Football Club with the public sector wages he had clearly saved extremely carefully, Hun Sen offered him an honorary role as economic advisor. Hun Sen, however, has not ended up running Cambodia for most of the last 40 years without being a ruthless operator. Hun Sen's explanation of how the call with Paetongtarn Shinawatra became public is a masterpiece of disingenuousness. He shared the recording, he said, with a mere several dozen officials. Seriously, what were the chances? If you can't trust that 80 or so people whose interactions with the media or internet cannot possibly be traced will all keep a secret, which would certainly embarrass and could fatally undermine the government of a nation with which you are in dispute, what kind of world are we even living in? Shinawat is, as of this recording, seeking to style it out by saying she was employing a negotiating technique clearly far too subtle for Hun Sen to have grasped. A single Thai citizen who believes her is yet to be reported by reliable witnesses. Indeed, the second biggest party in her governing coalition flounced as a consequence of the scandal, forcing her to hastily rearrange her cabinet table. We can probably assume that any number of Thai commentators have beaten us to all the leaden jokes about the Titanic's deck chairs. But all of this is the what and the who, not so much the why. For the why, you'll need to call up a map of the region, specifically the bit where the borders of Thailand and Cambodia intersect with that of Laos. What you're looking at is known as the Emerald Triangle, a reference to the green of its forests rather than to any gemstone deposits. What you're also looking at is one of those festering welts often bequeathed when an imperial power draws a few lines on a map in the interests of administrative expedience. In this instance, it was France, which between the 1880s and 1950s controlled a chunk of Southeast Asia, broadly what is now Cambodia and Laos, and what are now parts of China and Vietnam. Cambodia has never been happy about its border with Thailand. There have been manifold recriminations, court cases, diplomatic spats and armed clashes. At points between 2008 and 2011, during a protracted flap over an 11th century Khmer temple, war seemed a non-zero possibility. The International Court of Justice had ruled in 1962 and ruled again in 2013 that the temple is in Cambodia, about which Thailand remains miffed. Cambodia is presently bringing 4 further border-related cases before the ICJ. It is probably likelier that what we are seeing now is a pre-trial PR war, rather than the prelude to an actual one. For Monocle Radio, I'm Andrew Mueller.